Let's take a look at the finished collage. I added some paint and drawing media on top of the collaged papers. Let's take a look at the left-hand side where I added a wash of white paint as well as a wash of unbleached titanium, which is a light brown that you can mix on your own, but I just happen to have a tube of it. I also used a blend of ochre over top of the clothing. I wanted to use these washes to blend the background pieces and the pieces of the dress together so that they were more unified when you looked at them, so that her figure would stand out against the background. And I think I was pretty successful at that. You can tell that it's definitely a lot more visually distinct now. On the right-hand side, I did something similar where I used a darkened wash on some of the text, the words, and also if you notice up here at the top, we're going to take a look at that in a minute. I used a dark brown to help show how the neck is kind of breaking away and dissolving into the background of the piece here. I also went over the cloth or blanket that's wrapping the child down there so that it was a lot darker. So let's take a look at the bottom right-hand corner. You can see that the figure of the girl inside of the blanket is standing out more because I outlined it with some white paint. I also unified the rest of the blanket or covering on the child by putting a light wash of dark gray over top of it. It's almost black, but you can still see through it. And I used some white lines to show that the blanket or the cloth was crinkled so that you can really tell that the hand in the blue glove is kind of fisted and grabbing at that cloth a little bit. There's a little bit of tension going on there. You can also see that the text is blending in a little more with the background now because I took that watered down black paint and also some black Sharpie to create some lines and kind of go over it. So you can still read it, but it's not standing out quite as much. There's not as much contrast. I wanted that to fade away a little bit. And I did something similar in the upper right hand corner. We'll take a look at that next, where I used some brown paint to create this look of the neck kind of dissolving into the background. And then to accentuate that even more, I used the Sharpie and black paint to create these little discs that look like they're floating away up and out of the figure here, kind of as symbolizes how we can lose ourselves or how we feel sometimes like we're just not enough, like we're missing pieces. So I really wanted to give the illusion of pieces of the body kind of lifting up and floating away. You'll also notice that I used Sharpie and paint to draw a mask and gloves on the woman who's sliding off the concrete block there. And I found an image of a gloved hand, and I wanted it to be holding something. It took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to put there, but I kind of wanted to have it look like a pill bottle because it's, you know, how we always seem to want a quick fix. Whatever our problems are, we want it to just magically go away. So I was trying to kind of illustrate that it's not always, the Band-Aid you can put on the problem. So here you have the picture in its entirety, and you can see that I've really accentuated the crucifix in the middle of the picture by using yellow, white, and gold paint. I really wanted this to show how Christ is the unifying, accentuating piece between the two halves that bring us together to make us one whole person. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or see me on my Zoom channel during my office hours from noon until 1.